Titillate, tatillate.
No crosstalk, no crosstalk.
I got monkeypox.
Abracadabra, amor unana. Welcome to Baby Daddies. We're here to talk about the finale for season 3 of For the Love of DILFs. Imario, how you doing?
Girl, this finale took me on a journey. But honestly, the journey before here was wild because I was at the clinic with Dr. Dilf and he had me do some little crazy things that were outside of my scope of practice, but he said, baby, scope, we can widen it. And I was like, okay.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah.
Put you in some stirrups.
He put me in the stirrup and I was stirred up. So
okay.
How is you doing?
I'm good. Oh my God, I always forget my life updates. I had one and then I completely forgot it. So it really must have not been that important.
You find out you're pregnant and you over here like, I forgot.
I had something the other day. I was like, ooh, I'm going to bring this up on the pod. I can't remember it for the life of me. Well, all right.
Okay.
I really can't remember. The suds are gone. They're on their way out. I feel way better. I slept truly for like 48 hours straight. I just like knocked out. And I feel fantastic now, aside from like a little lingering cold. We get right into it this episode. Like
we get the little intro and then it's right to the couch.
To the couch. I do wonder why it's outside. Like, was there not a place inside the mansion that was like suitable for this?
I was thinking the same thing because as bright as it is, like these girls need some sunglasses and everyone's kind of, not everyone, but like most people were kind of squinting trying to talk. And I'm like, put it inside. I don't know.
Yeah. Or I think honestly outside, but remember where they did the cottagecore challenge, that kind of like pillared area? I think that would have been a cute area for it. Cause then you could put something over it so that you don't have to deal with the sun as much.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a thought I had. I'm sure there was like a logistical reason why it wasn't inside, but
interior and design will email us.
Yes. Yeah. So we, the reunion functions like this. We kind of go in elimination order, talking to whoever. First up, Justin comes out as being himbo for Big Dork Loser when he talks about comedian Matt from season 2, aka my podiatrist, not my podiatrist, my
your pediatrician.
My pediatrician. Yeah. I don't have a podiatrist. My feet are fine.
I was about to say.
I swear my feet are fine. I do not have an exploding foot like Monday Exchange. We're good. The way I need to see them on an All-Stars together, just to see if the chemistry is there and if they work. You know what I mean?
Yes. I had not forgotten about Matt because I also love a hot lawyer who makes jokes. Like I want to see them together.
Justin says, I may not have found my love match on this season, which made me think we need the I Love New York version where it's just Justin's dating show, where it's like just him and a bunch of like, eligible bachelors. That's the one we need. That give Justin his own show, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I do need the sheep sweater that he has on.
It was so cute.
I need it.
He posted on his story and I was like, where is the link? Where?
I know. Yeah. I need the link to the pants he wore in episode 1. I need the link to the sheep sweater he's wearing now. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I need.
Link the hair products too while you're at it. I want them curls.
100%. Foxy said, well, you know what, real quick, what I do with my curls, and I your hair is a little shorter, but if you ever think about growing out your hair, this might be, you gotta, so I have a curl comb that I keep in my shower, right?
Curl comb?
Yes, a curl comb, a pattern comb. Look them up. You get yourself a pattern comb and you got to brush your stuff out right with some oil and things. And then it just like really resets your curl pattern and just, that's why my curls look cute today. Is because I did that literally before recording. And when you're out of the shower, you got to scrunch it. You don't dry your hair like this. You do this.
Got it.
Yeah, you got to scrunch it like that. And then I like to do this. I just throw my head forward and that's what makes my curls lay forward. And then you just put a little more oil, conditioner, and all your like styling gels and stuff, and boom, that's it. That's it.
Okay, because see, my curls be getting tight. First, my hair waves because the black and Mexican, it waves, but then it's like curls up and it's tight curls. I'm trying to loosen it up and get like the big loopy curl because I think
that pattern comb.
Okay,
that pattern comb will loosen them up. It'll do it. Anywho, moving on to Foxy. Foxy says that some of the daddies scaled themselves back for television. Do you agree with this? Because I 100% agree. I don't think it's just daddies, though. I think everybody may have scaled parts of themselves back for this.
I agree with Foxy. I think it is just a thing of being on TV because, like, you want to act in a scene and then it's just like, oh shit, like, let me think about how this will affect me. Like the Drag Race girls do. Like, what the girls used to get crazy, used to fight, drink, throw
Bitch, I'm
stuff.
from
But now it's just
Chicago.
like, exactly. But now it's like the girls, like, you know what? Let me think about how this is going to affect me a year and a half from now
Yeah, I mean,
because
like,
am I
look,
going to piss
we
people
heard it
off?
with Timmy. Timmy was like, my mom is watching. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm sure for other people it was similar things. Like for Robert, like, oh, my
Mhm.
daughter's probably gonna watch this, or
Tokyo
you,
said his mama was watching.
yeah, things like that. I don't think that really changed how Tokyo acted. No shade.
I am going to
Tokyo,
recreate the shaking ass at the
Tokyo,
table
1
arguing.
minute. My mom was watching. I can't get too crazy. 2 seconds later, screaming at the table, shaking ass. Come on. Um, I do think, however, the daddies did not scale back on the drama this season. This was a daddy fueled drama season. Usually, like it's more the himbos that are kind of going at it. The
Mhm.
himbos were chilling. Girl, the plus 40 crowd was going in.
They these daddies were clocked in harder than the housewives.
Oh yes, the
They were
AARP
after
card
that
members
check.
went
Oh
in.
my God.
They then they talk a little bit about Foxy's early fling with Jay, and Jay says
Mhm.
Foxy was playing it too safe and that the bead gift was planned. And in my head, I'm thinking, is that such a bad thing necessarily? Like, you're from New Orleans, this is a part of your culture, to like come in with something specific to where you're from and be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this to whoever I meet up with. I don't think that's that bad. I do get wanting a more personalized gift, but I don't think, as far as gifts go, that's not the worst thing for me.
Pajamas are the worst thing.
Pajamas now. Then now we got
Yeah,
issues.
that's a
Pajama. You don't play too much.
no.
We might get another voice
It
message.
gets you mean a
We're
3 hour call?
a
Yeah.
3 hour phone call that I was asleep for because I don't wake up until 11.
No, I don't think it was a bad, you know, gift. Like it is something personal to where Foxy's from. Like so I don't know. I think it would have been on the same level as like, oh, hey, I got you a t-shirt or a tank top. Like, here, this is for you. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think it was
something like that. I
bad.
don't think it was the worst thing. And Foxy says he's never gonna chase a man because if you're chasing, they're running away.
When I heard that, I literally wrote it down on my tattoo book. Like, let me get this in some cool script and get it as a
Listen,
tattoo.
I think that is true. However,
Oh,
in the context of a reality TV show,
like contact.
in the context, there needs to be a little more. You need to chase a little bit, just because, bitch, if you want to stay on TV, you have to chase a little bit.
You
You
gotta
know,
thirst for it. You gotta want it.
exactly. Like Tony comes in, you know, you see that Tony and Jay are vibing. You gotta put something forward to try and sway your case. Or if you're not gonna go for Jay, you need to put your case forward and start talking to someone else.
Hmm.
That's what needs to happen. I mean,
Listen, if you don't make a move, Timmy, we'll send your ass packing. We learned this season.
yes, we know. Yeah, He gonna have a mental breakdown doing it, but
Hmm.
he gonna send you packing.
And I think about making a move. It ain't got to be a big move. It could be something small, like when Tony pulled James, when they were talking the date, and Tony was like, you're too far. Come a little closer.
Little things like
That's
that. I do
that's
think
a
it
little
was kind
chase
of
right
things like
there.
that. Yeah.
It doesn't need to
Hmm.
be a proclamation of love. Give us a
Hmm.
little something.
Yeah. It don't gotta
I
be
get
full
what you're
chase.
saying.
You don't gotta be full chaser like Patrick. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I am a Patrick Adonis stan at this point. I recant all my previous statements. Uh Stormy starts talking to David and has quite literally what I think might be the worst and most awkward segue of the season. You tested the water with a couple himbos. Dot dot dot. You know what you did. Minute long silence. David goes, "Yep, not gonna apologize for it." It was so awkward.
Yeah, I feel like that was. I wonder if she wrote that or if it was written for her to try to like, segue into like to try to stir up some drama.
Yeah,
But
it was just written so weird. And it just didn't. It didn't really do anyone any favors, and it was just a really awkward moment. Now David saying
uh,
he's not going to apologize for it, I get it. It's a little cat cow moment. I do think
mhm,
he could probably apologize for like the proximity of it, which we talked about in our interview with him early on in
we
the
did.
season, and he did.
Hmm.
He was like, "Yeah, I did take it a touch too far." I just could not. I rewatched this segue like 4 times. I was like, oh my god, it's like a train wreck.
Yeah. I think when hosting a reality TV reunion, always think of like Lala with I Love New York or Lala with Flavor of Love. Like you kind of got to give a flat kind of entry and then you gauge your response on what you get from the person. And
Hundred
so if you
percent.
come in hot, they might be liable to fuck you up too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Well,
that's how we get the girls dragging Andy. You know,
Andy need to be drugged though. Let's just go ahead and say
he
that.
yeah, through the mud, girl. Um, they talk a bit about this love triangle. David said there wasn't a love triangle. He said there was not much competition because it was clear that he and Timmy vibed much more than Victor. He says no offense, to which Tony says in the back, you hear him, that's very offensive. Which is true, that is really offensive. And like
Yeah.
I get with the sentiment of what he's saying, right? I just
Hmm.
think the wording was shady boots.
It,
Also, a love triangle implies, at least from what, a love triangle,
I
they
knew you were
all
gonna bring
want
it
each
up.
other. You know I was
I
going to bring
knew
it up
it.
because it always gets me when the girls don't get it. So, yeah, there wasn't a love triangle. It was like a tug of war. And also Vic wrote like the poem for Timmy, and then before anything could kind of go anywhere, Danny came in and swooped right in. So
Hmm.
like there really wasn't a lot of competition there. Like he tried for 2 seconds and was like, actually, Danny's really cool. I want to talk to them.
It's like one of those things like unintentionally shady. Because it's true, two things can be true.
I think it was
Oh,
intentionally shady. I think it was, and I think David would agree. It
I'm
was
trying to
it was
defend
the
David
shady.
over here. David's gonna be like, no, fuck that hoe. But
Now, also, Victor said he's glad Timmy found a real man in Nicholas. Vic feels slighted because David did just call him not much competition, which is shady as fuck. And even if he says, no offense, phrasing matters. And I think this is what Vic is kind of going. So he got a little nudge in back,
Mhm.
to which David said he doesn't have to respond to little comments like that. Now, here's the thing I want to say. To be fair, you just told the man that he wasn't much competition. Is that not a little comment? So
That's a big comment.
if you get your little comment in, and then Victor gets his little comment in, are y'all not allowed to both get each other once? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like you can't wake the bear and be mad that it scratched you.
Oh yeah, it's kind of one of those like give and take moments. If you don't
Hmm.
give it, you got to be able to take it a little bit. And I think this was Vic just giving it back.
Yeah, no, I agree. You were right. Victor just
Hmm.
gave it back how it was, like a little dig. Okay, well, I'm gonna dig a little deeper. Then
Oh yeah,
that's it.
yep. They move on to talk about Steph for a bit, and I really do want to commend Steph for this. David talks about how he saw what he wanted, he went and got it. And
Hmm.
I do appreciate that Steph did that. Even though I didn't like him coming for Robert because I was, I do like Robert and Sam. So I was like, no, get a job, get away from her. I do appreciate Steph seeing what he wants and he goes and gets it. And he tries to get with both these guys. I can appreciate that, right?
I mean, my man has said that about me. So Steph and I are very alike. Like, if I want it, I'm gonna get it.
Oh, yes.
That's
Closed
it.
mouths don't
Like,
get fed.
hmm
Hmm.
and it
What
was
did
a
you
real open
feel?
mouth. Oh,
I was gonna say, what did you feel about the importance of physical connection that they talked about? Because I thought this is a thing now nobody's talking about.
I think physical connection is important. Like, you don't want it to get too intellectual, as Rachel said, because like, we can talk all day. We can, titillate and tatillate, but it's just like, is you gonna fuck me? Can you
Hmm.
top? Can you bottom? Is your
Yeah,
diet good?
just like
Not
trust
saying physical
on.
has to be.
Talk. You gotta talk that talk. Come on now.
Oh my God,
Talk
no!
to me in Spanish. Talk to me in French.
The pussy talk, English, Spanish, and French.
No, that's the different one.
Oh,
That's the remix we need. Who's gonna get on? Tell Abel to get on that now.
you know what? His DJ equipment right here. Hold up.
Hold on, let's download it. We'll figure it out now.
But like, it it ain't got to be all physical, but I think a little physical is important. It's
Yeah,
all
I think
aspects of a good relationship.
if it's all, and I think Patrick said this best because he said, not that one is better than the other, one is just better to watch. Um, if it's all
Hmm.
physical, that's a bad thing. But if it's all cerebral, that's also a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be bits. It's got to be a healthy amount of both because trust me, I've tried it with someone where the physical is not there, and it just does not work, Diva. It doesn't
I
work.
I really thought you were gonna say there has to be a balance. I was literally foaming at the mouth
I
waiting
was
for it.
avoiding it. I was avoiding it.
Wow.
I know you. I was not gonna give it to
How
you.
dare you?
Okay, so you know that picture I sent you of like the substance poster outside my gym?
Hmm.
Someone scribbled on it and it says this movie sucks. I'm going to the gym with a marker tomorrow and I'm crossing it out.
This
How dare
Oscar
they?
winning actress is amazing.
Oscar
Like,
winning. Yeah, exactly. Come on now. Then we get into the bedbugs. Just let's talk about bed bugs. Let's talk about that.
because I did text you about it when I was watching it. I was like, these bitches pissing me off. And
Mm. So Vic, let's break this down. Vic says it is common if you sleep in places that are unsanitary, you can get bed bugs. David says, I don't know anything about that. You would continue. I would feel very uncomfortable if I was invited to someone's bedroom knowing someone else was just in there making out with them. There's nothing wrong with making out with multiple people. So I said, okay, Vic is walking back the bedbug era a bit. Okay, so maybe
mhm.
the love bugs are in his head. He's like, maybe I did too much. Now, here's my thing. See, and this I said this before in previous episodes. If Vic had just taken this stance from the beginning, instead of going the bedbug route, and actually had a conversation with him, like, hey, what you did to Timmy wasn't cool. Because if this is in service
Mhm.
of protecting Timmy or whatever, let it be that. There's no need to bring in the bedbugs of it all, right? However, if he did that, we would have much less of a storyline. I do think there would still be interesting tension between the two of them, but it wouldn't be as crazy as the bedbugs that we got, which, as much as it pissed me off, some of the lines were pretty good. I will
Some of the
admit.
lines, some of the lines were good. I
Yeah.
do think I do agree we would have gotten less of a storyline if he eliminated the bedbug thing, but maybe he could have gone in, now that I'm sitting here thinking about after you said it, with the you ain't treating Timmy right, that's not what a real daddy would do. I'm gonna show you what a real daddy would do. And then
Yeah,
poor
something like
Danny.
that. Something like that, exactly. Or like, because either it's about the kissing two people thing or it's about protecting Timmy. And like, if you're gonna do one of those, pick one and stick with it rather.
Hmm.
And like, if you're gonna do that, I don't know. It's messy. And so
It
when
is.
Victor is walking himself back a bit, David cuts him off to say that's not, because Victor's like, I'm all for people making out with whoever. But David cuts him off and is like, that's not what it sounds like you're saying, which is true. But also, I'm like, I wish he didn't cut him off because I wanted to hear what the next words out of Victor's mouth were.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that would have given us the why of it all. And I think because David cut him off, we missed out on potentially like some form of explanation on it, aside from there's a time and place to do it, and that place isn't here. Even though I disagree, I think this is a
It's a
dating show.
dating
This
show.
is the place to do it. Um, Also, I'm sorry. David saying that he shouldn't be accused of bedbugs because he's a real estate agent is sending me, because I do not think a single person is hearing that and thinking it's a legit bedbug accusation. Like, he's like, that's something that really shouldn't be said. I'm like, I just don't think it's that.
It
Like, I
was
just don't think that's what's happening here.
it was very housewives of it all. Like you call someone a liar, and they're just like, I am a lawyer. I went to law school. You cannot call me a liar. That's bad for my business. Like I think it was one
Yeah,
of those.
exactly. And like, I just don't think that's what's happening here. Like,
It was kind of silly.
I don't think any of his like real estate clients are gonna like see this and be like, well, first, I don't think they're gonna see it. But
No.
second, if they did see it, I don't think they'd be like, oh my god, they said he has bed bugs. We
My
can't buy a
realtor
house.
has bed bugs.
We
Like
can't buy a house from him. Like, oh my god.
I
No, because the realtors that do need to be worried about bed bug accusations, Edgewater,
edge
Chicago. Edgewater,
right up
Chicago.
there.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because they need to
Hmm.
be worried about the bed bug accusations. I just there's just so much to dig into here, and part of this is I really wish that Stormy Daniels asked more follow up questions. I don't know if she's a little anti-confrontational, non-confrontational here or something, because I
Hmm.
feel like there's so much to dig into here. And instead, she like really quickly is like, moving on to the next one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do wonder if they gave her maybe like there's a person in the back holding a timer that's like 5 minutes with this person. So that's like all she
Yeah.
could give because I definitely would have loved more follow-up questions. I want to get to like like, there's still always something to flesh out, even in the last episode. There's always something more.
100%.
So,
Yeah. David moves on to talk about how this was like a safe space and that the cast should have done better in terms of like bullying and how he was an easy target because he was the first to swap himbos. I
mhm.
agree that
Oh, I agree too.
because he was the first to do it, he definitely became the target. However, I also think he was the target because he did it in a messy way.
Two things can be true.
Two things to be true. If he had swapped without that proximity kiss that happened right one after another, and instead was going on dates with both of them and having conversations with both of them, I think he would have
Mhm.
been less of a target.
Can we also
Not
talk
saying
about
that he was
production? Oh.
right for it, but I just like I don't want to make it seem like it's your fault because the I just
Hmm.
think that also factored in terms of everyone doing it. But we've been wanting daddy swapping and himbo swapping since season one, so this is what we wanted to see. You know,
Hmm. I just wish that we saw it without the bed bugs.
yeah, yeah, big damper, big
Mhm.
damper. After that, we get the Steph Robert Samuel situation.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I have to say, I
Steph
still
A.
Steph got eight, and I don't believe Robert here. I didn't believe him the first time, and
Hmm.
even in his defense to Sam, it came off as somebody who was maybe not lying, but omitting the true parts of the truth. You know what I mean? Like that's not what I exactly said. That's not the words you know what I mean? Like those are the things you say when like you're trying to cover something. I don't know. I just still
No,
don't really buy it.
I wasn't buying it either. It was first the lawyer talk, and then the whole, like you said, the I didn't exactly say that. It kind of gave me a little Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Bronwyn asked, Lisa, am I an asshole? And Lisa was like, she wouldn't say no, you're not an asshole, but it was always, I'm always taking into account your feelings and someone else, Heather's feelings, and she would never just say no. It was always, I'm looking
Exactly.
at the facts.
There's got to be
Like,
like a qualifier for it. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
And listen, we love Sam, so if that's the case, we're gonna have to scrap. You know,
mm-hmm.
I just yeah, I just like you said it in the text messages. You're like the stuff Steph is saying is just too.
It's too
It's
specific.
too specific.
It's not just like, oh, she lied. It's just like, oh, she lied and she also said this and she had like this dress on. Like it's very specific. Like,
I know this is one of those things we need.
like,
Like where like a case goes cold and then they get like a DNA match years
oh my
later.
God.
We need them to like it'll be like season 8 of For the Love of DILFs, and they're gonna be like, oh my god, we found the audio footage from that day. You know what I mean?
Oh my
We
God.
found the mics. They actually
Mhm.
didn't change one of the mic packs on time. We have the audio from it. We know what was said. Like that's what we need.
It's like the season two moment all over again.
Yeah. This is where I actually have written Stormy needs to ask more follow-up questions because the second stuff starts heating up, she's like, next topic.
Hmm.
Because there was more for us to get into here.
There was a
There
lot
was
more meat on
so
this
much
bone.
more, so much more. We move on. I want to.
Hmm.
We gotta.
Yeah,
Hugo,
we
we still
got
got a
him.
lot. We got a lot to go through. So Nick talks about choosing Timmy, and they're talking. I do have one thing right here.
Oh.
The whole time they're playing back the footage from the daddy's room, where Steph is on the bed with David. Look at
Mhm.
where Nick is on the bed. He's on the bed with shoes on, and then he lays on the bed with his shoes on the pillow. I said,
He
no,
did do that. You're right. Because it was like
no.
Steph and David here, Timmy here, Nick was there. Hmm.
He turns around on the bed and them shoes are on the pillow. I said, sister, no. That is foul. Oh my God. They talk a bit about the elimination a bit, and Timmy's like, yeah, I saw it coming. And I'm like, Timmy, but you were the collateral in that situation. I think it was primarily about Nick. I don't think Steph was like, send Timmy home because he sent me home. I think it was mostly, if anything, about whatever Nick and David had going on. You
It
know what I
was
mean?
weaponized daddy drama that Timmy got caught up in.
Yeah, you were just caught in the crossfire tragically. Then Steph thinks Timmy deserves more. Oh,
When Steph said that, I was just like, oh, so you're telling Nick he's less because Timmy
this
deserves
was a
more?
moment. This was a moment. Now,
And then
this
Nick
is a
comes out
weird
with the,
part. Before that, Sam interrupts and says, that's their relationship. Why should your outside perspective about Nick, how Nick is treating Timmy, affect their relationship? And Steph, I believe, rightfully says, well, they did it to us. And I think this is true because everybody in the house at some point has had something to say about Steph and David's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
think
I
everybody.
even apart from Steph and David being there, it's just like if I see my homegirl getting treated badly and I know she deserves better, I'm gonna tell her, hey, girl, you deserve better than this.
But also, I'm like, was Nick treating Timmy bad? I don't. I'm like, what are we not getting here? You know
I
what I
feel
mean?
like from
Like,
what we see, I didn't think Timmy was treated badly at all. So
yeah, it seems like they were pretty chill and they were like laughing a lot and having a good time. But I'm like, what is that specifically? Or does he just mean kind of in general, you deserve someone better just because of how Nick handled the David stuff? I don't know.
maybe it's that
I
because
it's I feel like it's more that and less how Nick is treating Timmy. I think it's more so speaking to his character, if anything. But again, this is all stuff that we don't really see on camera, so
this is all allegedly.
it's all speculation at this point. Roll the footage though.
I know they got it.
Nick laughs at Steph when he gets eliminated, and that was Shady Boots.
Very shady. And I didn't even see that the first time.
I said never
So,
see footage.
oh yeah, you're right. I
This
had
is the
never
first time
seen
they
it.
showed it. Yeah. Nick says, I have no opinion about you, bitch. Damn.
And then he brings out the fucking hand performance. I have no opinion about you. Like it
Yes.
was
Kind of cow. Yes. From the house of Northern California.
the House of Bakery, like
The house of bakery. Yeah. That was shady. And then they're talking about like respect. And Sam does this again. And listen, Sam, love you, girl. But so Sam asked David, when you eliminated Timmy and Nick and repeated Victor's lines, was that respectful? Now, I don't think it was respectful, but I don't think it was disrespectful. I think it was fair game.
I think it was good television because
And
I
it was good
thought they were gonna
television.
send Victor home.
It was a perfect misdirect. It was like such a good way to go about it. I thought it was fantastic. That brings me to a second part. I feel like Sam is like on the defensive a lot in this finale in
Mm-hmm.
ways that he doesn't necessarily need to be on the defensive. And I think because of that, that may have affected people's voting, or I don't know. There's just stuff that like Sam is piping up on that I'm like, oh, Sam, no, like,
It definitely gave me a little bit of pause on, looking at Sam throughout the season and looking now because I'm just like, where's all this coming from? Like, it's just Sam came out on 10, and I know one thing about reality television reunions, them bitches will fight. And if you do not want to get attacked in the crossfire, you don't speak. The housewives couch, if it ain't
100%.
about you, you better sit there silent because they will get you.
100%. Yeah, and I just feel I'm like I get it. Like it's a stressful day being in the top two. You don't know if you're gonna win or not. Like this is a lot of stress
Mhm.
on you. So I'm sure part of it is like Sam being stressed. Part of it is having to confront the Steph situation again. Part of it is like
Mhm.
everyone's energy at the same place. Like I get it, it's probably like a swirl of like a lot of emotions and stuff. But I just feel like Sam, like you're on the defensive so much in this finale in a way that like you don't have to be. Like you're sitting pretty, you're top two, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
because you see Jay's just kind of,
Jay's just there, he and Tony holding hands,
oh
smiling.
yeah, because these are the people that are voting for you. You piss them off in these last moments, they gonna remember that short-term memory.
Exactly. I wouldn't do it. I would have been like Jay and Tony. Just
Oh yeah.
zip it up because I want this
Yeah.
cash. I got my
I would
daddy
have been
right
like
here.
Patrick and Adonis. They were quiet the whole time. Whew.
I got something to say about them, but I'll save it till the end.
Okay. Nick, I do think is kind of crashing out here a little bit. When he's talking about how he has no thoughts on people he doesn't fucking know. I have nothing in my heart for people I don't fucking know. Like, it sounds like you got some thoughts, Diva. I'm sorry. It does sound like you have quite a few thoughts. And that's
Hmm.
okay. It's okay.
It's reality television.
Have the
Like,
thoughts. They talk a
have
bit
them on
about,
camera.
yeah, have them on camera though. Nothing you say matters unless the cameras are rolling. They talk a bit about Timmy being confrontational. I don't really have anything written here for that. They move on to,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was fine. They move on to Danny. Danny talks about being the first non-binary, the first open non-binary contestant. We now know that Steph is also non-binary.
Hmm.
So there's multiples. I do like the,
But
oh
no, you can go ahead and say what
no no
you.
no. I was just
No,
gonna
we're
say
gonna get
I
there.
like the part that Danny says about talking about people coming for their femininity and men talking about
Mm-hmm.
any sign of you not being a man is faggot shit. Like speak on it. Like this is stuff that like people really feel, and the way that gay men specifically demonize femininity, especially when coming from people in community, is so sick. And it's like, I need you also start dissecting why you feel this way about feminine people.
Why? Because it's
Why?
kind of crazy. Like the more I just sit and think about it, a lot of the misogyny comes from gay men,
100%.
which is
100%.
crazy.
100%. But that's not really a question for us. That's a question for the
Yeah.
philosophers, and a question that y'all need to dissect at home. Okay.
Why do you hate the dolls?
Yeah, or not even the dolls, just like feminine gay men or non-binary people. Like, why do you feel so comfortable hating on someone just because they present themselves differently than you do? Let's talk about that. Um, what were you gonna? You're gonna talk about Danny calling out the sex negativity, right?
I don't know if it was a call out or defending the bed bugs. I texted
Uh,
you. I felt like Danny came out and defended the bed bugs, and immediately I was like 100 to 0. I was like,
the
what are
way
you
I took
doing?
it was less Danny calling out the bed bugs and more like pushing the bed bugs elsewhere. You know what I mean? Like deflecting that off of them and more towards Victor. But I guess they were kind of defending it a bit. Yeah, because they said, I don't stand for anything that sounds slut shamey. I'm very open. I don't believe in monogamy. Says that when Victor talks about bed bugs, it's more of a fact that the reason that Danny came for David and Steph is because they saw too much bed hopping, which would be fine at an orgy. In this house, we were meant to focus, for me, on one person to make a connection beyond physical. Now, that's not stated in the rules anywhere, I don't think. No one is saying you have to be with just one. Like, it's a
No
dating
one is
show,
saying that.
and we stand by the fact that people should be able to shop around a bit.
That's
I
the whole
do.
reason we do switch ups and challenges to choose your daddy, choose something like.
Exactly. Now, if this had been more of a thing, like we said earlier, of what you did with Timmy and Steph wasn't cool because they were truly in the same room, right, one after another, then
Mhm.
let's call that out, you know? Because that's not sex negative. That's just what you did wasn't cool to these two people because you're vibing with two of them. Obviously, one of them doesn't feel right the way things went down in this bedroom. Like call that
Mhm.
out that way and not in terms of the bed bugs.
That's true.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it is a two things can be true at once. Like I stand behind the fact that David was messy by making out with both of them one after another, but I also stand behind the fact that he should be able to shop around. You know,
maybe on season 4. Maybe when they do For the Love of Dills All Stars.
who
All
knows?
Dills? Would they
Uh,
call it All Dills?
all dil no, because then it would be all dilfs.
Else, oh, you're right. You're right. I'm just thinking
We
For the
still
Love
have
of Dills. We
himbo.
got daddies and him. You know what? I'll workshop with
Second
production.
chance at love. Who knows? Something like that.
Second.
Yeah. I just think it's so interesting because it shows that Danny is well aware of how it's coming off the bed bugs of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Danny is well aware of how it comes off and feels the need to say something to be like to distance themselves from it. You know what I mean?
I do think maybe it was a little bit required because Danny, actually, I think a lot of the people made like at least one bed bug joke after the
Well,
moment
we
happened.
talked about
So,
this. We talked when Danny came back. We wondered if Danny was going to mention something about it and call it
mhm,
out. And if it didn't happen during the season, we said it's probably going to happen at the reunion. And sure enough,
it came
it
out.
happened. We had an inkling that this was going to happen. Um, Steph cuts in and says, "This is what the experience is for." 100%. You know,
Hmm.
Vic then says that he's all about sex positivity and how he thinks it's hot when you can make out multiple people, but not in a space like this. Where else is better to date around than a dating show? I don't know.
That's why I felt, you know what? It's neither here nor there. The check is cleared. It's over. I'm gonna let it go.
Yeah.
I'm
And
gonna let
then
it go.
Stormy cuts in with a very important question. How did it feel to go into the compatibility test? I'm like, no, I thought she was going to cut in with a follow up. This is the moment. I don't care what the script says. This is you ask that second question because that's good TV.
Hmm.
That I was 100% thinking that Stormy was going to reveal the open relationship question about between Danny and Victor.
Oh,
You want to talk
that
about
would have been
open, then why did one of you
spicy.
say yes and one of you say no? That's what I thought she was going to bring up. This is what I mean when I say she needed to ask more questions or, like sticking to the cue cards. I get it. Y'all are on a time crunch, but I think
Mhm.
the juice is worth the squeeze to go that extra mile, break out of the cue cards, ask something that's not on there to get the good TV because would have
See,
that would have tore.
had we been there,
Best believe.
hmm,
I mean, like, I get it, but and especially because David says it did feel super slut shamey. Even then, ask a follow up question on that because there's so much more to get into this. you know? But now she's like, what about the compatibility? Like, ugh, girl, give a fuck about the compatibility test.
Ugh.
But maybe she's like traumatized from season 2 reunion with the no crosstalk, no crosstalk.
Oh, mate, you know what? Yes, that's true. Keep Stormy safe. So,
Maybe, but whew. Move on. Patrick talks about how he may have come on a little hard in the audio recording. That's fine.
mhm.
I do think it was less on how Patrick came off and more on how Robert came off because he sounded so sleepy in his recording.
They did call Robert like sleepy old man. It was
Oh yes.
it was funny.
Um,
I gotta give him a laugh for that.
yeah, they talk about the physicality of Patrick and Adonis and how enjoyable it is to watch. Listen, we love it.
I
We
could
love
not get
it.
enough of it.
Could not get enough. It turned me into a fan after we called him out episode. Turned me into a fan real quick. I do wonder what this would look like because he says something to the effect of like, I wasn't able to control my destiny here because of all this bullshit that happened before I even showed up. I wonder what the
hmm
finale would have looked like if they made it to top 3. Would they have done well in the compatibility test? Would they have done well in the interview? Like these are things like alternate universe. If they made it, would they be sitting on the couch instead of one of these couples?
I think they could have given a few couples a run for their money because
100%.
they were vibing. He and Adonis, they were together.
Oh yeah, and we saw in season 2 that just because you show up late doesn't mean you don't do well in the compatibility test.
Exactly. Because it ain't about time, it's about how well do you know each other.
Exactly. Now I do like Patrick kind of biting back here though. He's quiet the whole time, but he comes up and he's like, "This is some bullshit. Y'all are all petty as fuck, and I don't know why I'm sitting here. I should be up there." And
Patrick,
get it.
Patrick tore with that one. Did I text you about that one when he said that? I think I
I don't
did.
remember. Maybe he
But
ate
it
that
was
up. I was like, "Yes, get your look back." And
so
then
good.
here's another thing. Sam says this weird thing about Patrick being divorced and Adonis being single, how not everything is picture perfect. And I'm like, this just feels out of left field. I feel like you're on the defensive in a way
Yeah,
that you don't like necessarily need to be.
that made me
Yeah.
sad.
And it was just odd because I don't think Patrick was talking about the Sam Steph situation. I think he's primarily talking about the bedbugs of it all, right?
hmm
It just was odd. Adonis talks about coming out as HIV positive, and we talked about this when it happened. Don't
hmm
think there's anything new happening there. Robert talks a bit about the fall. His daughter Samuel talks about family members not wanting to be on the show, and we touched on this
hmm
earlier in the season because he talks about wearing one pieces and crop tops and things like that. Um, they talk. Jay and Tony talk about the job again and not judging
hmm
people off what they do. On to the final words, however.
Oh, I really liked how Tony kind of bit Sam back, and Sam once
Oh, my
again
man
piped
said, "I love
up.
you," and you ain't say it back.
And then Tony just kind of
Listen,
leaned over, started laughing. There was some
Tony
oohs.
always gonna throw it back. Always. Tony has them locked and loaded, and I love that.
hmm
Oh my god. Okay.
Final
Sam and Robert,
moments.
final words. Robert and Sam's are pretty cute. I do like when Sam trails off and Robert goes perfect and they kiss. I think that's actually so endearing. I thought that was really sweet.
It is really sweet. Cause I'd be talking to my man. I'd just be talking. I'd be looking in his eyes, and I just what was I talking about? What's going on?
Hmm.
It felt really natural.
Jay and Tony have really cute words between each other, talking about, I may seem super confident, but I have my doubts. And Tony's like, I haven't had this much affection in years. I need this. And they had some tears flowing. And I was like, that sways the girls when the tears come out.
hmm
And in the final votes, Justin votes for Sam and Robert. Foxy votes for Jay and Tony. Nicholas votes for Jay and Tony. Timmy votes for Sam and Robert. Victor, Danny, David, and Steph all vote Jay and Tony one after another. And they end up taking home the win. Dun, 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 perfect. And then Stormy says something here. She said, even though Jay and Tony are winning, there's a lot of couples walking away with something here. And this is where I swore she was going to say, Scruff gives each of you $1,000. I am so drag race pilled with them giving out cash for everything. I swore Stormy was about to say something like that. People walking away with something. I was like, oh,
I
they're getting
thought
a
she was gonna
gift.
say money too. I was literally waiting for every couple to get $500, get 1,000 tickets to somewhere. No,
Nothing. That gagged me. I was so sure she was about to be like, and if you look under your seats, like, like I was ready for that. We didn't get that, but that's okay. I get it. It's budget, whatever.
You leave with the memories. With the
Yes.
love in your heart.
With the love in your heart and the cum in your hole. And with that, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we'll be talking to season 3 winner, Jay Seabrook. We're back from our break, and we are here with season 3 winner, Jay Seabrook.
Hello. We made it.
We made it. We are so happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm really happy to have been invited.
We were like holding on all season. I'm like, no, we need to have Jay for the finale because we had a feeling early like episode 1. We're like, all right, Jay's winners. We gotta hold on. We're gonna have you at the end. So we're glad
yeah, it was also like I knew obviously what was happening. So I'm like, okay, you guys can wait a little bit. Be patient. Be patient.
Definitely.
Listen, baby, you worth the wait, okay?
Oh yes.
Oh well, thank you.
Mm-hmm. First up, how do you feel after the finale now that everything's all wrapped?
I mean, I feel just as good as a year ago. Whenever I won, it was really nice to just kind of like reconnect with everyone one more time and get my flowers a little bit. Just being able to have this experience with everyone, it was a blessing. The production team was incredible. The entire experience was bonkers and stupid and everything that I wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm. From jumping out of planes to people
falling
on the sidewalk.
Oh, the things you do for men, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I actually wanted to start off with the skydiving.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so let's talk about this a bit. You get told that you win the skydiving date. What's running through your mind? And then what are you saying? What are you and Tony talking about? Is he immediately like, no, I'm not doing it?
Yeah, so Tony was a no-go from the beginning. I knew I was going to do it for myself. So I'm like, well, if it's going to be all about me, let me make it all about me then. So, from the moment we're like driving over, which was like the skydiving place was like a 45-minute drive from the mansion. So we had a lot of time to kind of like mentally prepare. And just talking to the people at the skydiving place, I felt really comfortable. The actual guy, like the instructor that I was hung up on, he was super sexy, and I'm like, you can be behind me all you want, daddy. So yeah, I mean, I've never done it before. That was definitely on my bucket list, and I get to do it for free. Fuck yeah.
That's what I was saying. I said this in the recap. I was like, listen, you give me a chance to skydive for free. I don't care how scared I am. Put me up there.
Also, you cannot really back down when you're already thousands of feet up in the air, and they're really like, okay, you gotta push forward. And I'm like, oh, might as well. If I die, at least I die on TV.
Not to put nobody's business out there, but we have a dancer at my job who went skydiving and complained and begged so much when he was up there that they took him down and didn't even jump with him. He was claiming he was going to sue them and stuff and all this stuff. And then and I'm telling you, I do not like this answer, but for months afterwards, he keeps going, oh my God, who wants to go skydiving with me? I'm like, girl, nobody wants to go skydiving with you because you're going to chicken out at the last moment.
Baby, you a liability. We ain't doing shit with you. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's unfortunate because you sign away your rights of life whenever you go skydiving. So it's not like you could have sued them if you wanted.
Exactly.
You would have been dead. You would have woke up dead.
A whole mess.
Wake up dead.
I mean, moving on. I just had to share because that just pissed me off. Let's talk a little bit about your early relationship with Foxy.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
In the reunion, you were talking about how he was playing it like too safe. What did you kind of mean by that?
Well, I mean, let's just say that at the moment of adversity, I don't think he pushed enough, especially in a competition show, to remain there. Gotcha. He wasn't trying with anyone else of the himbos. It was me, but then it was just like, well, it's up to you. And I'm like, well, Foxy, I know it's up to me, but like, if you want to stay in this competition, you need to do that a little bit extra. And I think Tony excelled at that precisely. And then Adonis picked him right after I eliminated Foxy, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Damn.
Maybe he was a little bit scared to be any kind of more forward because you kiss two himbos, all of a sudden bedbugs. Maybe he was scared of the fallout.
I mean, Foxy was very respectful and super sweet, and I mean, I still have his Mardi Gras necklace, so I'll keep that shit, of course.
Did you really think at the time that it was planned, the Mardi Gras necklace?
Yeah, I mean, like he had already like given me stuff like as soon as we met, and I'm like, baby, you don't know me.
Okay, gotcha.
Like, what is it about me that would require this gift specifically? So that's kind of like, I'm not someone that needs gifts or presents from people, but if you're gonna give me something that like actually means something to me, something that makes sense with the type of person I'm introducing as myself.
Gotcha.
So no pajamas. Okay, noted.
Oh, not the pajamas. The season 2 pajamas. Now that was messy. Speaking of past seasons, do you think, we know you were supposed to be on season 1, do you think if things had panned out where you and Tony were both on season 1, would you have had the same success?
Oh, absolutely. I saw season 1 and, dealing with the type of personalities that were in that season. I was obviously younger and I was a different type of person then, but baby, I would have still won that. I don't care. I mean,
that's what I love to hear.
I mean, with Tony, with another daddy, there's also a couple daddies that I knew from the industry because, there was Alex Tikas and Bobby. So like I've known them before then. And I would have rejected them and made great TV, but I definitely would have felt comfortable in season 1 as much as I felt comfortable in season 3 for sure.
Okay. And this is fine if you're not allowed to answer this. Or why weren't you actually on season 1? If we're able to ask, if not, it's fine.
Bitch, I got monkeypox. Like days, like maybe like 2 or 3 days before I was like heading over to shoot. I was literally packing everything, like getting all my clothes ready, and I started showing symptoms. And at that point, I already had like the first dose of the vaccine. And then I got sick and I had to like call the producer and be like, baby, I am so sorry.
Damn.
Can't really leave my house.
Yeah. I remember we talked about that when I asked you about it like long ago, but I was like, that's baby's medical business. That's not mine to give out. But
well, I mean, like, it's not like it was a secret that, people were getting sick that year. So unfortunately, fuck around, find out. That's exactly what happened, and then I had to deal with the repercussions of it. But
you still made it, and you still got that cash, and you won.
I still got this opportunity, and I have absolutely no scaring from the monkeypox. So who won?
Man.
So as you said on the show, you was a rave kitty. You love the techno, you love the dancing, the lights. Do you give me your top 3 concerts you've been to in 2024? What would they be? Or top 3 artists?
Okay, for sure. Well, so Sarah Landry for sure is one of my techno goddesses. She's incredible. I went to the Caverns in Tennessee, which is a very interesting venue, kind of like an hour away from Nashville, and it was super ritualistic and demonic. And I'm all about that spooky shit too. So that was great. Obviously, anytime I go to Chicago, I have an incredible time.
Yeah.
So ARC Music Festival, it's one of my favorite events in the US, basically, out of my favorite city, of course.
Will you be coming back this year?
Oh, I go to Chicago every year, baby.
Okay. Daddies and Jay, group picture.
Yes. Chicago is just my next step in the Jay Seabrook saga, so I'll be moving there next year. Hopefully.
Oh, period.
Wait, moving?
Yes.
What?
I'm tired of being a guest. I need to be a host there.
We can't wait to have you.
Everybody moves to
Thank
Chicago.
you.
I think Chicago's like Rome.
Literally everybody comes
Chicago.
here.
I mean, yeah, it's just that city has been calling my name for a couple of years now. So I think it's time to make it happen.
All right, let's get into
Mhm.
it. I want to talk a little bit about the conversations that you've had with Tony regarding your work in the sex industry. Were you expecting to have conversations to this extent when on the show? Obviously, it was going to come
Oh,
up, but like to the extent that the two of you got into it.
yes. When I went into the show, I was very serious with being open about sex work and the type of mischievousness I get into normally. And I think part of why me and Tony were so successful was because of like how sincere we were with each other. And part of that, it's in big part, is just, my line of work and being open about the type of relationship that I would be expecting and the type of reciprocity I would need from my partner to make something work. And I think, people saw that in the finale whenever we got voted winners. I think that was my approach from the get go. I didn't want to, Hazel is someone that on the show that was never mentioned whatsoever, but
Not at
he's
all. The girl was a jump
No.
scare when we found out.
Oh
Oh my
yeah,
god.
when I saw that meet on Twitter just pop up on my phone, I was like, oh my God. Sent to
right,
Jake
but he's someone
immediately.
that's also very sweet and nice, but also very successful in the industry.
Mhm.
Um, so why not own up to it?
Exactly.
Like you cannot benefit from what the industry is providing for you and then not, act like it cannot affect your personal life because it does to everybody.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
didn't want that to kind of bite me back had that come out later. And then for me not to be ready to have those conversations. So I think that was the right approach to have and still paid off.
Not to mention that that is showing off your full self versus hiding it and then have it be like a point of contention later on in the season. You know.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because at that point, me and Tony were doing so well in all of our dates, and um, everyone else was just kind of like going at each other. So the moment we were like able to pass from that hurdle, which would be like a big part of like our story arc, so to say, um, I feel we just kind of cruise with the rest of the season because everything else was just like kind of going through the show and hoping no one eliminated us because we were doing so well.
That was a big fear of mine that someone was going to take y'all out as a strong couple. You and Tony got through the season pretty unscathed in terms of
Like,
both drama and eliminations.
But something they did not show that I wish they would have shown because it added a little extra of that spice. So
mhm.
um, they also cut this scene out, but Patrick and Adonis had spoken to Sam and Robert, saying that if they had the opportunity, they would have kicked Tony and I out. So that was like their plan going to like the top three. That if they had the opportunity, they should have made an alliance with the other couples to like kick us out. Um, but then they got kicked out, and that never happened.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would have gotten the chance anyways, just because of all the plot twists that really happened on the season, and then how every of us were just like really anxious every fucking elimination. So um, it still kind of worked out because all the other opportunities where people could have eliminated us, they went to someone else because of the drama, because of it. They none of this men really thought a strategy. Like even Timmy, the
Oh,
first time he eliminated Danny, like it was all really kind of personal. They didn't see like making choices that actually like benefited their game. Um, so that ended up, helping us a lot, and um, going automatically to the top two and then skipping the compatibility test was also like, whew, we'd have to work.
Yeah. How do you think you and Tony would have done in the compatibility test?
I think we pretty much talked a lot throughout the season,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we would have been fine. I mean, again, we would have answered very honestly, and I think the other two couples did extremely well, and it's also super narrow.
They
So I
did.
think at that point, all the couples were on the same page. Um, and us himbos kind of knew our daddies and vice versa, just enough that it would have still been a really close race.
Of the challenges that you did do, which were your favorite?
I mean, I think the kayak challenge was fun. Also because I was so close to winning, but then all of a sudden Timmy just like smoked everyone out, and I'm
The
like,
Burst
twinks
of
be
tiny
speed.
working.
little twink.
Burst of speed out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, and it was also funny um, seeing everyone win, whichever challenges they won, and still knowing there is a change that would eliminate us, but given all the drama they're dealing with, like we're just in the back of the mind, like there's just
Oh,
no way this is
fully.
where eliminating us
See?
because it doesn't match what they're saying on their confessional.
Yeah, like all the eliminations were so personal that there wasn't a chance that they would ever look to the two of y'all when that would benefit their
Exactly.
game the most.
Like
See?
even the one that was like when Timmy and Nicholas got eliminated, that we were still shocked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it was either them or Victor and Danny, to be fully honest. Um, so I really saw pretty much most eliminations go the way they did, just based on everything we experienced throughout the season. But definitely the canoe challenge was fun because at that point, Robert had, recovered and he went to the hospital and then he came back. So it was more so like, okay, we went through like a very dramatic point in the season and we can just look pretty and, don't touch the water because it looks kind of nasty. Just kidding.
Yeah. Speaking
It
of nasty
pays to.
water.
Oh,
Oh no, you go first. You go first because this
Okay.
next question is gonna be a little messy.
no. I was gonna say it just see it pays to mind your business, mind your daddy, and just fall in love. No drama.
Yes. I mean,
Exactly.
also knowing that you are getting voted from all the people that got eliminated, like, do you think you want to be in bad terms with any of these people? No. You're
Exactly.
going to show face, you're going to act cute. Otherwise, they're not going to vote you, no matter if you make it to the finale.
See, that's what
100%.
Trixie said.
Yes. Which leads me into was that in the back of your mind when the whole bedbug situation was happening? You're like, let me just stay quiet. Let me not say nothing. I don't want to get on nobody's bad side.
That's the messy water.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really uncomfortable.
Because I'm sure you had so many feelings that you wanted to say, but you probably like
100%. I mean, I think that was not the right approach if you're going to like create drama for the sake of creating drama. I mean, like finally seeing what went down, like discussion wise, like it wasn't really that serious to me. Especially because like when everything started accumulating, like Victor was already with Danny, and like Timmy wasn't even part of any of those conversations. So like, what are you exactly so mad about that you are going to have to start saying, that shit that's super disrespectful and really out of place with what you have claimed for yourself to be a very like open and sexually positive person that lives in WeHo. So that just didn't make sense. So everything that went down there, I was like, I wish I could get involved just for the sake of bringing attention to this is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, I can do that after the show airs, after I win
after
the
you get the votes.
$10,000.
Yeah, because you need the votes.
Just to be like, obviously, I was never really okay with anything that was said in that regard. And I feel sorry for David for having to deal with that because David showed to be extremely likable person, even though he made maybe one or two questionable decisions, and I mean, I still get along with everyone decently well, and David and Steph have definitely been like a very positive um, group of people to be around, because we hung out after this show, and I try to keep in touch with everyone, and I have definitely hung out with a couple more people off the show, so that's been really cool. But no fucking bedbugs in this bitch. Never again. We're not talking about this.
They're done.
We
You're
are
letting it to
burying
rest.
it.
Over. The
This is
library is
not.
closed.
This is not the legacy that you want, especially if you're continuously being on television. That this is like who you represent as a person. I don't think that was great.
100% ready to lay them down. My last question. It's been a year. How are things? Are you allowed to say anything in regards to you and Tony?
Yes, of course. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Right, perfect.
Okay. So after the show, I did go to New York, and we had a proper date. Because I mean, I was gonna follow through. Like, I'm not gonna have this experience with someone that's like super personal and intimate, and not offer an opportunity. And it just kind of started fading like little by little. We weren't communicating as much, and we were just like living our lives separately. And we did talk again about it whenever the show was premiering, and we were okay with how things were, and we're just friends, and just the nature of the show and just the nature of living so separately didn't allow us to develop something any further or anything stronger. But we are super appreciative of the opportunity that was provided, and the joy that the show brought us. So we're doing well.
Perfect. Imario, you have any last questions before we close out?
No last questions, but I think what you're saying about you and Tony is, a clue to the producers, like, hey, we need For the Love of DILFs Chicago edition, For the Love of DILFs New York edition. Because we flying all these people out all over the country, and then they got to go back 1,000 miles. Like Tokyo and Tony, they lived on opposite sides of the U.S. So, like,
that does make it
harder.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying you want to be part of the production team.
That's what I'm saying.
For the Love of DILFs Chicago. Okay. Let me tell Daddy TV real quick.
Yeah, screw the production team. Let us host.
The official podcast in the studio.
Boom. Yeah.
Like, you guys can do the exit interviews like right there and there, like they do with Michelle Visage after the quiz got eliminated.
Yeah.
What you packing? Let's do it.
What you packing? A lot of trauma, but yeah.
Well, Jay, thank you so much for coming on here and talking to us for a little bit. It was such a joy to watch you all season.
Thank you. It was a joy also hearing all your commentary, and just be holding space for defying DILF Mansion with all the boys and all the daddies. So Amen. You guys are doing great. This is only one of the few podcasts I actually listen to. So I'm like, you guys need to get on like more daddy TV shows.
We're looking forward to watching Slayers when it comes out. So
absolutely. Yeah, like, cannot wait.
Just get to like rewatching, even if it's like Slack Wars. We're watching like Hot House.
Slack Wars.
I mean, these people are incredible, and they have become part of daddy TV. And they have opened up the doors for the Love of DILFs. So show your love for all the other seasons and all the other shows, for sure.
And that goes for everyone else watching at home. Go and watch some of the other shows, because we've seen a couple of them and they are all fabulous. They're all great.
So good. Yeah. Slack Wars is my first daddy TV show. And listen, I cannot get enough of Rebecca Moore. I cannot. Everything she does is gold.
Yeah. I mean, even now, she's been like on a very different journey in her life now. But she started somewhere, and she is somewhere because of who she was, and who she represents, what she represents for the whole entire sex work community. So always respectful of what she means.
Do you have any last words for the people at home? And do you want to let them know where they can find you and keep up with you
Yes,
moving forward?
absolutely. Absolutely. You can check out my Instagram. It's at Jay Seabrook _. And then on Blue Sky, I am at Jay Seabrook. And then same as X, which I'm trying to not use as much for obvious reasons. But for now, still gotta deal with it. If you want to check out my music on SoundCloud, I have a couple mixes. If you want me to DJ one of your sex parties, because that's kind of that's a vibe. That's a vibe.
100%.
My
We've talked.
SoundCloud.
I'm always swiping up and be like, "This is cute."
So my SoundCloud is ZXEU. My DJ name is Zeu. So you can go ahead and check out the music that will turn you on. Definitely.
100%. Imario, let them know where they can find you.
You can find me showing ass and helping Jay pack his boxes to move to Chicago at Booty Origami on Blue Sky, X, and where am I else at? Instagram. Oh my God, that's where I'm at. Instagram.
You can find me at Crowgunk for all my normal personal stuff. You can follow me at Poison Touch Pod for the Poison Touch Advice Hour, the podcast where Gay and his friends give you all the best and worst advice for all of life's predicaments. Keep tuned for my February episode featuring season 2's Nigel Battle. We're going to be talking about all things Valentine's Day, giving y'all some advice on love, sex, and all that shit. And until season 4, well, that's a lie, because we'll be back for season 1. We're gonna go and we're gonna rewatch season 1 and have some people on to talk about that. So keep your ears and eyes peeled, because we're gonna take a little break, and then we'll be back with that.
Get back
to it. Yeah. Keep it up for the spring. Bye.
I think it was good television.